In France, the rentrée is more than just the time when schools open again. It is a fresh start, a chance for a new beginning, and you must prepare for it. You will be given a list of supplies to purchase that your child must bring with them to school. Hello, and welcome to my channel, Mom in France, where we talk all about parenting and family life in France. Today's video is all about back to school in France, la rentrée. We are fast approaching the end of the 8-week summer vacation. Like every year, this August, Paris and the surrounding areas have been deserted. After a gradual slowdown period in July, many French families left the big cities to go to the countryside, the beaches, or the mountains. Or if they're staying at home, they're just not working very much and taking it easy. While it's great to have a break, by mid-August, many are already looking forward to the start of the new academic year. For my daughter, I couldn't believe it when already a week ago, she woke up one morning and said, "Mama, I can't wait to go back to school. When are we going to start school again?" This actually surprised me because I didn't think that she was going to want to go back to school and do schoolwork. But what she said is that she couldn't wait to have her new markers, her colorful notebooks, because she's no longer going to preschool this year. She's going to start at elementary school. And she couldn't wait to go back and be a big girl and go to the big school. Be sure to check out my video on schools in France, which I'm going to link to in the description down below. It might be true to some degree in every country, but especially in France, the start of the new academic year is more than just the time when schools open again. Just like there was a gradual slowdown in July, towards the end of August, the area is slowly repopulating again. People are starting to come back little by little. Shops that were closed for a few weeks in August are starting to reopen. Every day it seems there are more people around. There's more traffic on the road. It no longer has that quiet, peaceful feel that you have earlier in August. It really is a big contrast. It's almost like New Year's on the 1st of January. Of course, for the start of the academic year, people don't make New Year's resolutions. But it is an opportunity to start again, to press the reset button, and to do things differently, maybe do better. After a prolonged period of rest, when you haven't been managing your usual workload or dealing with your usual worries, you can return with a blank slate. Whether you have children in school or not, it's just as valid for adults. You can start off with good habits, just like your kids. For the kids and families, you can organize so that you can get homework done at time. It's an opportunity to get your grades up. As I said, it's just as valid for the adults. I remember a few years ago when I went to a professional meeting of people who are in a group of an association that I'm part of. Not everybody has to attend the meetings, but for the first meeting in September, there are definitely double the amount of participants than there were at other times in the year. It's like everybody wants to start again. Also, it's a time when you can reconnect with your friends. For the whole summer, you might not have seen your friends very much. The French anyways have probably been spending more time with their families or just a few of their best friends. Or maybe they made new friends at their destination, and when they come to school, they're going to see their school friends, and a lot of people look forward to this. A lot of kids do. My daughter is certainly looking forward to seeing her best friend. Then, of course, September is the time when you start up your sports and your activities again. If you want to sign up to yoga, gym, or whatever else it is, crafts, piano, music, this is the time when all the schools, associations, clubs are having people sign up for the year. If you're a parent of a child over the age of 6, there's a job you need to do at any time over the summer. That is, purchase a bunch of school supplies that your child will use for the entire school year that will belong only to them. This list you will be given by the school itself before the end of the previous school year in June or early July. Later on in this video, I'm going to go over my list and the supplies that I bought. As a parent, it is expected that you will provide all the necessary material and supplies that your child will need to participate in all classes and activities at school. So obviously this includes things like pens, pencils, notebooks, and paper. But many times you're also asked to provide very specific items or things that you might not expect. For example, this year I'm being asked to provide a whiteboard like this and a pen. Also, many of the notebooks and paper and pens and other things that you will be providing many times they will give you very specific details about exactly what types they want. Most of the time you'll also be asked to provide an outfit and shoes for participating in gym class, sports, and in my case, also a bathing suit because my daughter is going to be participating in swimming classes during this year. Well, one of the things that I didn't have was a swim cap because we don't really use that. So that I did in fact buy specially for the list. Also, of course, you're going to have a backpack. For me this year, it's going to be the first time my daughter is going to have an official backpack, because in preschool they just had a little bag thingy, but it wasn't really required. In preschool, it's not necessary to provide anything, only from the age of 6, and that's when they start their first year of elementary school. Now, let's talk a little bit about the money. For low-income families, the cost can start to add up. The French government will actually subsidize part of this. This is called Allocation de Rentrée scolaire. If you have 2 children and your annual revenue of 2 years ago, they don't count the present year, is less than 30,000 euros after tax, I believe, then you will have the right to receive this money. So that's not too low, but it's not a really high salary. And the other conditions are, it depends on the age of your child, and of course your child has to be signed up with school or with distance learning. So in France that is CNED, C-N-E-D. But if your child is homeschooled, you will not receive this. So that is money that is a sum that you'll receive in August. It's about 400 euros, and it's intended to cover the cost of the school supplies, but also to subsidize like new clothes for your children, and if they're signing up for clubs, activities, sports, that will also be a little contribution towards that. Where to buy school supplies? So most shopping centers, very large supermarkets, hypermarkets will dedicate a whole section to supplies for school. This from very early on. Even at the end of June, early July, they will have a whole section dedicated especially to this. And at first I thought it was something very like pessimistic, thinking about going back to school even before the summer started. But what I found out later is that of course there's this whole school supply list. So that's why the parents receive this list, and if they want to take care of this work before summer vacation, they can do it, so they can go on vacation stress-free. But it's the whole summer, and maybe even up to the first weeks of September. Of course you can buy supplies at any time of year, it's just that like they have these large sections dedicated especially to that over the summer. If it's not one of these larger stores, you can also go to discount stores. Discount stores will often have school supplies, or a local stationery store, or just a regular stationery place. This is my school supply story. One day when I went to pick up my daughter at school, we usually receive notes from the teacher if they have a little note or information about what's coming up, any events at the school. One day when I went to pick her up, the paper that I received was for the school supplies for next year. I was also sent a copy of this list by email, which was very fortunate because I promptly lost the paper version, so it was very convenient to be able to print out a copy when I actually had to go shopping. The first place I went shopping was Action. Here I am in front of Action, or Action as the French call it, a discount place where they sell a variety of miscellaneous items. I'm hoping to pick up at least some of the items on the list at a good price. For example, pens, markers, and notebooks. So I found that indeed at Action they had some supply items that I bought for very good prices, but they didn't have everything. I wasn't able to get all of the items on the list, and the choice was quite limited. However, one upside is that I did manage to get some very nice notebooks for my daughter, little hearts on it, very colorful. That's really great for her. I spent less than 20 years at Action, but I didn't get everything on the list, so I'm heading over to Carrefour now. When I went to Carrefour, which is a hypermarket, they didn't have as much supply, they didn't have as much choice actually in terms of the notebooks. What I mean is I didn't find any with sparkly rainbow unicorn heart-shaped designs on the cover. These notebooks are just too plain for my daughter. However, they did have a greater variety of homework notebooks, or agendas, or homework diaries, whatever you call them. And that was one of the items that she was asked to provide. So we ended up getting the nice notebooks at Action and the homework diary at Carrefour. And I was surprised actually to find out that Carrefour had really good prices as well. They were really just like the discount place. So I didn't even really need to go there, except that it was fortunate that I got the nice notebooks there. But at Carrefour, they did have a very large selection. I was able to get absolutely everything on the list. So I could have just gone there and got everything at once. I found this stationery place, papeterie as it's called in French, after I had already finished my own shopping, but I decided to go in and have a look out of curiosity. So they have some nice music going in the background here. There's this corner of the place which is dedicated only to school supplies, and it's all here, so it's not very big. So here I'm showing you around the other side. You can see they have a variety of different products in this relatively small space. Some of them there was just one of everything. For example, markers, they only had one brand of markers, but there was everything. So I could have come here and gotten everything in one time. I also found some nice colorful notebooks, as you can see here, but I actually like the ones at Action better because they didn't have sparkly, girly type options the way my daughter likes. The downside is that it was more expensive. For many things were more expensive. I wouldn't say everything, but for example, I bought a pen here that was €4 that I could have gotten at Carrefour that was €1. So it's definitely more expensive. Another advantage is that you can ask the shop assistant for help if you need to, if you have a question. As I said, many of the items on the list will be very specific. You're supposed to have a large print, small lines, big lines, squares, erasable pens, not. So if you have any questions about the exact details about what you need, you can go and ask, whereas like in the big places, there's not really as many people to ask. Okay, so here's what I bought. First of all, I have my notebooks, which I've talked about so much. As you can see, they're heart and a little bit rainbow colored, sort of pastel, so we're very glad about that. I got them with lines inside, fingers crossed that they're going to be the right ones because they didn't actually say on the list. Now here I have my whiteboard. It has two sides and a pen that's attached to it with a little eraser. But as you see, we have some additional pens that I've been asked to place in a bag. And this is the only bag I had, so it's kind of big, but I was asked to provide an additional 20 pens to go along with the whiteboard. So they're going to be using them up little by little over the year. Now, I was asked to provide this, which is a folder that has these plastic sheets inside, and it has 40 plastic sheets with 80 sides. So that was specifically asked for. Put that over there. Now we have this nice folder that opens up like that with elastics. And I hope you can see, I'm very glad I found this at Action as well. And it has some nice designs. I hope you'll be able to see that. Here we have two pencil cases. This one here contains markers and colored pencils. So I have a double pack of markers in there, and I have 12 colored pencils. This one is a more traditional pencil case. I was asked to provide an eraser, and of course she has this one, which is one of her favorites. And we were asked to provide glue, which she has here. I bought a new pair of scissors specifically for her, and they asked us to buy good scissors, not to make sure that they're ones that actually cut. I have an extra glue. We were asked to have like extras in case, like for things that would run out. Now this is a pencil sharpener. I got this for 79 centimes, I think, at Action. That was a pretty good deal. Now we were asked to provide two pencils, or one pencil, I don't remember, but she has three because they're pretty ones. And there's another eraser, of course, that's one of her favorites. Now we were asked for two pens, one blue and one green, and they have to be erasable pens. So these are erasable pens, and these are actually the erasers here at the bottom. And these came with refills, so apparently you can undo these somehow and put in a refill. So I got some refills as well. This is the one that was really cheap at Carrefour and Action, but it was more expensive at the stationery store. Here I have a ruler. It was specified that it had to be 20 centimeters. I had to look around a little for the 20 centimeters because they either had longer ones or they had 15 centimeters. So here I put 2 refills in already for her for later. So that was, all this contents here is specifically defined on the list. It's not just sort of random. Even though they're logical things that you would normally put in a pencil case, but that's what the teacher very specifically asked for. Now there are 2 more things. Here I have some pastels. I don't even know exactly what they are. They're some sort of like oily type of crayon. And I'm not going to open it up completely, but you can see I think they're for art class or something. And I just found it written on the box, pastels, so just hoping it's the right one. And now she has her agenda, and this is a really beautiful one. I was lucky to find this. Actually, they had a lot of nice agendas, so that's what we got. And finally, this wasn't on the list, but there's stickers for writing your name. And I got 2 packs because they did ask you on the list to label everything. So this is what I got. Okay, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.